When someone asks you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And usually this question is asked to kids. I also questioned my nephew and niece, what do you want to become when you grow up? And they all have their own right now, whatever they feel like. Some are like, I want to be a teacher, doctor, all those highlighted professions. And then when people come and advise me, you should carry yourself like a leader, and you should be a leader, and you should, I don't know, my whole perspective on life just shifts. And I start saying this to myself, why would somebody want to aim to be a leader? you know Leadership is something that just happens naturally to you. You don't have to aim for it. I'm aiming to be a leader is something that's not going to really take you to be at the leadership level. No, don't. I see my life very differently. I see when I go up, when I chase heights, I don't want to look down. When leaders look down, the problem is they start coming down. When a leader just goes every level, it just reaches at a height and looks up, you get a new vision, you get a new perspective. You just keep growing. We are very habitual that whenever we go at a height, we all want to look down. We like the views. Some feel great about it that we are standing at this height. How many of you have experienced Burj Khalifa? Do you know how many floors Burj Khalifa has? More than 100 floors. More than, above 100 something. And like every floor has a certain kind of an aim. People who come as a tourist and travelers, they're like, oh, I went on Burj Khalifa 125th floor. I had my coffee and tea and lunch, dinner, whatever. I just enjoyed there. So people have their aims that, okay, I'm going to go there, I'm going to pay for this level, and I'm going to go and experience the height. This is one achievement that people have, a realistic achievement. And there are people who just travel, don't go to a height, never pay for the height. I don't know, I did not go inside Burj Khalifa. I've seen Burj Khalifa from outside, and for some reason I didn't pay for to experience the height of Burj Khalifa, or to experience Burj Khalifa from inside. I did not receive that opportunity in my life. And today, when I'm running my press, her journal, and I'm literally thinking and writing on various issues and doing my research and all of that, and I go through everything that I've covered, I don't know what floor I am right now. And I don't know what floor people are going to say, okay, Anam, right now you're standing on 100 in this floor of Burj Khalifa or whatsoever. Can someone scale this? Because the fear factor that even I have is there. I am pulling out issues that can actually put me in trouble, that can actually put a lot of people around me in trouble. And I'm taking this heat. And I'm collecting my dare, and I'm still trying to just shift that one cloud for myself that is gonna give me a clear space that I can literally swim in the sky. And it's a different feeling. I don't know how people see it, but this is how I see it. This is how I really see it. Travel experience is very different from life experience. When someone sent me a letter long back, I received a short note on my birthday with flowers. And it says, you're gonna go on some journey. And I was like, okay. I still have that with me. I still have that note with me. And I don't know, I couldn't take out meaning behind it, but it just, today when I travel so much, in the sense when I actually try to dig a lot of issues and do my own research and figure out why something is like this and trying to do my critical thinking and all of that, I literally felt a storming achievement. The one storming achievement that I felt is to actually discover the answers which we fail to understand, why something is the way it is, why a system is the way it is, why a culture is the way it is. So choosing the educational graph and finishing the clutter life that we had, coming from the medieval period, and the period when they actually started running the economy with the resources they had, and body is the immediate resource that anybody could make money out of. So having courtesans, or having prostitution being at height, and having all of this was part of a structure, because the economy was not relying on too many external qualities and trade and products and all of that. It was just probably accessories, clothing, and food, or arms and ammunitions, and then we had prostitution as a luxury, which was a part of a service, like a therapy, like a massage that you all take. So now drastically, as we've been shifting, people are coming up with their own unique concepts and ideas, where they want to create a living for themselves, where they want to create an economy for themselves. We want to generate, they're using the resources which are available as per 2025. As per 2025, the resources that are available, technology is at its best, at its peak. We all are using it. We all are using AI. We all are using ChatGPT. We all are using Gemini, and we are making most of it. I'm also using it. I'm not going to deny that. I think a lot of my critical thinking has received its direction and edge because of the fact that I had these tools with me, that could actually make me do a lot of research and take out the figures and numbers and everything that I've been looking for. It just made my research very comfortable. But it was exhausting at the same time. And it was risky and daring. Because how to put that research in words, and what is the message behind that research, is something which actually you have to be very mindful about, because you don't know how people are going to actually respond to it, or how they are going to read it, how negative it will be, how positive it will be. Though I'm ready for both. But as long as it is shifting and transforming the old ways to new ways and looking at things differently, I think that should do a lot, And I really feel we all deserve to be independent. I know it there's a lot of fear that a lot of people have at a certain age, who are senior citizens but not looking drastically as young and appealing as most of the celebrities of that age are looking. Most of the men and women in the 70s and 60s and 80s. Uh, and I understand government is giving them pension and they're part of a certain system where there is a certain amount which is just happening to their life like a cycle, and the problem is that their children are also eloping in that. You know what I'm trying to say? They are receiving a pension which is not serving them a well-being, a happiness which they can use for themselves. Their own family is depending on their pension, which is so wrong. Why would anybody want to eye their parents' pensions? So here is something which I really want to say, that people are depending on government because they don't want to be self-dependent. The association and replacement that keeps happening with the government is because the children are so comfortable with the idea, and they have realized that there is no better growth than being dependent on a government and being part of the culture that the government has said that this is your belief system and this is what uh, you have to do and these are your follow-ups, and this is their own choice. I cannot change their life in one night. This is their own choice, but the problem comes when they use their own choices in the wrong way by pulling people from different choices and backgrounds. That is when the glitch actually happens. That is the problem, and this is all played out. And this happens because there's a lot of shuffling that happens from one belief to another belief. People mix, collaborate, and then they know that no, I want to promote my person from my background, I'm going to take this person back. So where I was working in Delhi, there was a church nearby in Vasant Vihar. There was a Guru, what do you call that? Vahe Guru temple. And there was the Bada Mandir of Guruji in Chhatarpur, which is also connected on a driving distance with Vasant Vihar. And approximately 2-3 kilometers away, also on a good driving distance, somewhere around from Vasant Vihar to INA, there is a dargah which is called Shahi Marda, a Shia dargah, not a Sunni dargah. So these are all the blessings which are around a very posh elite area which is called Vasant Vihar. And we are working together, all colleagues in under one roof. And we are all from different walks of life, different backgrounds, and how our lives have been interconnected and how there's been a push and pull happening because of how we were positioned there. And drastically that has impacted our lives, especially my life, for how people have been choosing to do up, down, and the politics all around it happened. So anyway, you understanding what I'm trying to say, where I'm coming from is that people have so much of time to do this, but and receive their own income and pleasure on the money that they're generating out of this kind of a politics. But they do not have the potential, they do not have the aesthetic, they do not have the courage, and also they do not have a good mind to actually think of doing something differently. I have a farmland of mangoes. I will take out a political party, but I will not take out a mango brand. I'll not take out a mango juice. I'll not get into the production of mango juice and set up a factory and do something more constructive. But I'll take out a political party. And the worst is good, it's a good decision to take out a political party. But what becomes bad is when you start using that political party against your own people. When you do wrong to them. That is very wrong. And the same dynamic goes with other political parties who, because of whom there's a massive division of two houses that we call it Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Where Rajya Sabha is underprivileged despite being Rajya Sabha, they have to seek permission before having a financial independence or choosing to have anything. I'm going through such a terrible experience ever since I have been shifted from Lok Sabha to Rajya Sabha that even to have an air conditioner of my choice, I have to sulk. I ask for an air conditioner, I receive a different air conditioner. I have a different name that I give, but I receive something else. And then I get to know, oh, that particular air conditioner is on stock market and they wanted to push their stock. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm literally dealing with this. So this is what is happening with people of Rajya Sabha, which nobody knows. This is the shit that Rajya Sabha deals with. And nobody talks about it. Lok Sabha is so happy embracing themselves and still feeling, one Lok Sabha is gonna feel great about themselves and make the Rajya Sabha feel like, they are high shit and high nose. And despite knowing what is our condition, how Rajya Sabha is literally treated, Lok Sabha is still gonna act pity and they're gonna be like pushing the people from the tribal background and doing this and doing that. But nobody talks the core. The core reality is very different. And I'm opening the curtains of the core reality of how literally the current situation is of Rajya Sabha. And then I think about all my friends and family who were associated with Rajya Sabha, how their life has impacted and why they choose the decisions they choose in their life and how they have been trying to escape and do things that they demanded to do for their well-being. Because there was so much of snatch happening and there was so much of tug of war happening where people were pulled down and somebody has to collapse down and take a control of being on the land and being a face of a cow. That is the most terrible thing. So I'm coming from a fight of a background where I know I was not prepared for how my life shaped. I was going on a different journey. And then suddenly there's something else that just happens to me. I'm like awestruck. It just happened to me. I was not ready for it. Maybe I still have a little potential and energy left in my voice and hands. But my body does not really want to do anything. Like it does not want to work out. It is so demotivated. My face does not allow me to reach out to a mirror nearby and have a look. It is so demotivated with my current conditioning of life. And that's not me that's complaining. That's something that I'm telling you about my body. Internally, fortunately, my mind and organs are working very fine. And I'm thinking good. I'm trying to create good. I'm trying to bring up and pull up the right issues which will make a difference to a lot of people. But this is the current situation, and I don't know how people who's actually taking care of the Rajya Sabha house, because people in Rajya Sabha, I think we do not even have a parliament of our own where we can actually lift our issues. When you've already divided to two houses and we know that we are Rajya Sabha and others are Lok Sabha, then at least Rajya Sabha should get a perfect panel of seating where we can actually discuss the issues related with people in Rajya Sabha. So I am seeing things at a very height and I'm unwilling to look down any further, and I'm just continuously looking at height because I think I've really gone so down in life that now I don't want to touch the ground base and actually feel pity and feel demotivated and sulk about the conditioning of ground. And that is the level of ground which I cannot even touch because that does not belong to me. I'm not, I don't want to offend anybody, but I don't worship cow. And I do not have any such emotion with animals to that extreme. I might do some donation somewhere, but I am not lifelong attached to it, and it has nothing to do with how I want to take forward my life. It's just this that I don't see any conditioning that allows or that makes me tie down as a mother or a father, whether that is a cow or that is a tiger or a lion, whatever. I do not see that conditioning. I just want to look up, and I just hope there are people who are trying to see what I'm trying to see, or maybe they're trying to see something different, because we're really so tired of the same kind of a news repeating on television, the same kind of uh, things, news that we are reading in the newspaper. There's nothing new, something happened. The news that the journalists these days, the only news that they want to catch is actually a news that's happened, which I understand. Somebody died, somebody murdered, someone had a robbery, someone this things happening in the state, things happening in the world. People, I understand that news is very important. It's a part of a rational current affair section where we know what is happening in and around us. But I personally feel a responsibility of a journalist. A journalist should be to awaken the disputes and to actually come with a solution or introspect the ideas and try to see things differently. Because when you try to write things, your readers start looking things differently. As long as you are going to do the same storytelling and you're going to do the same kind of a television news, this and that anchoring, and there'll be no change in the way you present a breaking news and in the way you try to do the gossiping every time, there would be no change in the mindset also. The mindset will only shift when you start feeding the mind, when you give the food to mind. Right now it is all the kind of a news and the kind of current affairs that we are going through repeatedly. It is like I'm on a fast food. My mind is on fast food, and that fast food is not healthy. How unhealthy is that for the mind? So when you try to feed your mind uh, organic, when you try to feed your mind with extraordinary topics and doing critical thinking and examining issues and bringing the analysis and doing a research and trying to present something that you've really worked out as a journalist, that is when you're feeding your readers and you are actually making a difference, not just to your writing but to a lot that you're bringing on the table. Because that is not just traveling to a common reader, that is traveling to the people who would be able to understand and stop and pause in life and see that yes, this is something which needs to be fixed, because they are so occupied with the population controlling them left, right and center that they are unable to figure out how they should take forward what they should take forward, because they're so driven politically, and they're so driven politically because they're tired. Geopolitics is like getting crazy with a lot of leaders having their own expectation level from the neighbors, from the people, from the believers of that neighboring country. So in order to bring that on a plain surface, it is important to voice out and write down things which are well read by everybody, and it becomes a major subway for people to actually for leaders to actually stop, pause and think. then how this whole of thing can be actually fixed. I think this really needs, because the minute they're gonna do something like this, I think they also don't need to look down in life, then they will also look up in life, because that will be an achievement for all the global leaders. That's what I feel.